Down the basement, lock the cellar door, and baby, talk bloody to me.
Hi, and welcome to another exciting edition of Talk Bloody to Me. I'm Matt,
And I'm Brezzy.
and this week we have another fan request, isn't that right?
Yep, we do.
This week we're talking about 2025, last year's The Long Walk. And The Long Walk is based off a story by Stephen King.
Mhm.
Breezy, are you a Stephen King fan?
I am. I really haven't read the books besides, it, but I do love Stephen King. But there's some movies I just really don't care for. And
Right.
this one's one of them.
Yeah.
So,
Spoiler, let the cat out of the bag right away.
hey,
This one's one of them you don't care for.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am open and honest. So,
Yeah, that's what we love about you.
yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm a big Stephen King fan too, and but some of his stuff is definitely better than others. He's written a lot of stuff over the years, and this was one of the ones that was released under his pseudonym Richard Bachman, which I've heard different stories about why he did that, but the
Okay.
story that I've heard was that he was worried that, and this might not even be true, it's probably a different story, and people are like, that's not right. But I heard is that he was worried that people were only publishing his stories because it was Stephen King. It was his name on it, Stephen King, and that even if you wrote like a really horrible, stupid story, they would still publish it. So he started submitting the stories with the name Richard Bachman. And then once those started getting published, he's like, wow, I really am a good writer. It's not just because I'm Stephen King. So that he proved it to himself.
What I've heard is like the Long Walk book is actually better than the movie. That's
Uh,
what I've been seeing on the reviews.
aha. I could
So,
see that. I could, because
yeah.
this is the kind of thing where a lot of it's a lot of psychological.
Mm.
There's a lot to think about, and it's something that translates good to a story where you're sitting and reading. But when it's a movie, it's basically 90% of it is these guys walking in a straight line. You know what I mean? And so,
And a very like good like pace too. It wasn't
yep,
just like a normal walking.
yeah, exactly. And so, if you're not familiar with the storyline, this is like an alternate timeline. It kind of looks like the 70s. Well, I guess the story was written in the 70s, but a lot of the cars in the movie look like they're from the 50s or the 60s or something like that. Um,
Yeah.
but apparently, at some point in the past, there was a huge war, like either World War II went south, or there was a World War III, or there was some other crazy war. And so the whole country's basically been devastated, and they've been trying to rebuild. And at some point, they decided that what the problem with why the country isn't successful is laziness. And so, to help motivate people to not be lazy, they do this thing once a year where they select one teenage boy from each state, I believe, because there's 50 of them,
Yep.
and they have to walk and they have to maintain a
Well,
speed.
yeah, there is 50 of them because I'm like, 15. I'm like, yeah, you're right because they all got there and they gave them numbers.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah. So they have to maintain a certain speed, and if they fall below it, they get a warning, and it's like, warning, number 47, first warning. Warning, number 20. You hear that throughout the whole movie.
Yep.
Warning, number 16, first warning. And then they get their second warning, and then they get their third warning, and then they get shot if they stop. And so, like, people always used to talk about the story, and they're like, oh, yeah, they have to keep walking or else they get shot. And I'm like, well, why would you do it? But it's like kind of like Hunger Games almost, or like what was the other one I was thinking of? I can't remember. Oh, remember when we for Minnesota Meatloaf when we reviewed Death Race 2000, your favorite movie ever?
Oh yeah, that was like long time ago.
Yeah, and it's like this weird, desolate sort of messed up future where these cars are
Yeah.
competing. It's like the same sort of thing in a way. It's like this weird, messed up future alternate history where these people are competing. And so if you're the one that survives all the way to the end, you get a huge cash prize. They never say exact amount, which I think is smart because then in your imagination it's whatever you think is
Right.
huge. And then you get a wish, which is kind of vague, but apparently you can wish for something. And so
Yeah, in
all
this movie, if the person wins, you get a wish. Like you can wish anything that you want.
yeah. And so at one point in the movie they're talking about it and one guy's like, I'm going to wish for 10 naked ladies. And they're like, "Oh, that's a And they're like, well, you have all this money. You could just buy all the naked ladies you want. And he's like, well, no, it's not the same if you have to pay for it. And they're like, well, if you wish for it, someone's going to pay them. And he's like,
Yeah.
he's like, I didn't think of that. And like they said, you can't wish for any like change to the regime or anything like that.
Yeah.
So there is some limits, but and yeah, now we'll probably get into a lot of spoilers, just so you know. But basically, the movie starts off, and I kind of like this about it is like it starts off, the kid gets dropped off, the major, who's like the dictator kind of guy in charge, pulls
Yeah,
up.
it's like they drop them off as like a checkpoint, like
Yep,
the beginning of the checkpoint. Yep.
yep. And there's basically like maybe 5, 10 minutes of them talking amongst themselves, and then the major comes in, and there's like maybe 5 minutes of him going over the rules, and then boom, they're walking. And so the movie just it doesn't dick around with a lot of history and flashbacks and all that. It's like nope, they're walking.
Yep.
So off they go.
It kind of reminds me of like you can drop off, say like at, military boot camp or
Hmm.
whatever. I'm like, here you go. Here's the rules. Let's get going.
Yep, exactly. That's kind of how I've heard it described too, like getting
Yep.
dropped off at boot camp or something like that. So and at first they kind of describe it like they signed up for it, like, oh, we all signed up for this, we all volunteered for this. But then shortly as they're walking and talking, they kind of talk about how no one ever doesn't sign up. Like it's just expected that every male is going to sign up. Like they're like, do you know anyone that's ever not signed up? No. Do you know anyone that's ever not signed up? No. Well, then it's not really voluntary, is it? It's we're just expected to sign up. So
Yep.
and it's like, well, that's a good point. You meet some different characters. I can't remember all their names. I'm gonna try and look at IMDb.
Yeah, I
There's,
don't really remember, but the one main guy that was dropped off by his mom, and
mm-hmm,
you got the main black guy.
yep. That's
Got the name. Their
the
names.
Raymond Garrity is the white guy played by Cooper Hoffman. He's number 47, and Peter McVries, played by David Johnson, number 23, is also is the African American gentleman. A little bit like
Oh,
Squid
okay.
Game in a way too. Just the numbers made me think of Squid Game.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, and that they're competing for money and they're all kind of desperate. You got Stebbins, number 38, who's kind of like seems to be like the true believer. He knows all about the long walk and he has a secret reason for knowing it. And then you have Arthur Baker, number 6, who's kind of the religious guy and he's their buddy. He forms part of their clique. You got Gary Barkovich, number 5, who's the blonde, long hair kid who's kind of a cock and fucks around and accidentally gets the one kid killed. And
Hmm.
you got Hank Olst, number 46, who's the Asian kid who seemed to have a really good plan and I thought was going to do really good, and he kind of sucked ass right from the get-go. And you have Richard Harkness, 49, who was going to write a book about the long walk. And you have Collie Parker, number 48, Native American guy, seems badass. And then you got Adam Curly White, number 7, who looks like he's about 13 years old. They
Yeah.
ask him how old he is, and he says he's 18, and they're like, bullshit. They're like, you're 13 if you're anything. And the whole movie, I was wondering, who the hell plays the major? Who is this actor that plays the major? And I couldn't figure it out. And then do you know who it is?
No, I don't. I
It's
didn't look
Mark.
up.
It's Luke fucking Skywalker. It's Mark Hamill is the
Oh no. Oh
major.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like,
Just like, oh yeah. I mean, put two and two together.
yeah. And so
Yeah.
And so even though like he seems to be the guy that's kind of like in charge of the whole country, even though like there's ranks above major in the military, like general and colonel, but he seems to be like the major, like he's the man in charge. And he's like, you boys got sack. You got big old flapping sack. He's always talking.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm proud of you boys. Let's haul ass. And like off they go. And you find out later that he like gets to sleep at night and gets a shot. He's not walking, he's just riding the thing. And they're like, well, how does he stay so always looks so fresh? And they're like, oh, well, he showers and goes home and goes to bed. And so they're walking, and it's like
You
right
know what
off the
I'm always kind of like curious about this movie? It's like, okay, they walked so long,
yeah.
and they even show it during the night too.
Hmm.
So it's like, okay, they I know the military people probably take turns, like
Right.
sleeping and whatever.
Hmm.
And you see the guys that are walking are like filthy, tired.
Hmm.
So they're probably not getting any sleep.
Yeah.
What about like food?
Yeah, they do.
Like,
They do show like the one guy is sleeping while he's walking, and he's like, "Oh, I was even dreaming and everything. I dreamt about my mom." And then they show they have canteens and they have little food packets, and they eat
oh
them.
yeah,
And then,
yeah, the married military food packets. So
yep,
that yeah, that makes sense.
yep. And then when they get done, he's like throws it over his shoulder, and then he's like, "Don't be a litter bug," and he's like, "Who
Yeah.
cares?" But everything they walk through, it looks all just deserted and abandoned. There's maybe like one or two people on the side of the road and stuff. But our good friend Curly, the young one, oh, it starts off the first action is Barkovich, the guy that's kind of a dipshit, goes to tie his shoe and take a rock out of his shoe, and he almost gets shot in the head just because he gets all three warnings as he's dicking around with his shoe. So that creates
Yeah,
some,
he didn't really care at all.
yeah,
He's like,
that
just screw me.
yeah, that creates some tension. But Curly, what happens? He twists his ankle or something, right?
Yeah, he twists his ankle, and then like I think he twisted it really bad that it was
Yep.
like kind of like bleeding or something like that.
Yeah.
And he couldn't catch up
Yep.
with the people, so eventually he got killed.
Yep. So he's like on the ground. He's like, "It's not fair. It's not fair."
Yeah.
And it's really graphic. That first one when they show Curly, it's really just they don't hold nothing back. It's wow. And
Hmm.
it's like, and then um there's one that just starts foaming at the mouth and like collapses. And they said, oh, he must have had some medical thing that he didn't report. And I thought for sure that was going to come back that like one of the kids, like maybe Barkovich, was poisoning him, like he was somehow slipping him poison water or something to.
Yeah.
But it never comes back. It just that was just a thing that happened. And then Barkovich is picking on a kid whose name's Rank or something like that. And he's like, your mom named you Rank? And he's like making fun of him. And the kid swings at him and he dodges and he just like won't back off. He keeps making fun of the kid. So then the kid swings and he dodges and the kid biffs it on the tar. And you see gets all like road rash and stuff.
Uh-huh.
So then he ends up getting killed because he can't get back up in time. So then everyone hates number five. They're like, you're a killer. You're a fuckface. Go fuck yourself. And he's like, I didn't mean to do it. I'm sorry. And
Yeah.
that like
Just trying to win.
yeah,
It's a
exactly.
competition.
Exactly. So it's kind of interesting. You get to know these characters and you get invested in them emotionally, and you kind of wonder, well, who's going to win and who's going to last so long? And it's kind of like a sick, weird reality show like Survivor or something. And it's
Did you
like,
know how long they walked for?
quite a bit.
Well, last time I seen it was like a 300 and don't quote me on it. It's in the 300s. So
Yeah, you're right.
325, I think.
Because
Don't quote me on it.
at different points throughout the movie, there'll be text on the screen that'll say how many, what mile, like 83 miles or
Yeah.
123 miles. And yeah, one of the last ones is, I remember now, I think like 330 something
Yep.
miles. Um, yeah, without stopping, they sleep while they walk and eat and drink. They do show more than once a person stopping to take a dump and almost getting
Oh, it
killed.
was like diarrhea wise, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And it's just interesting like how the different people how they all end up going. There's a few because they start off I think with 50 because I think they said one from each state, and then they kind of not really cheat, but it's kind of a cop out. At one point it's in the middle of the night and then there's a sign that says steep hill ahead, and then the one guy's like, oh, we're gonna lose a bunch on this hill, like one year we lost over half. And then as they're going up the hill you just hear warning, warning, warning. and like people you see in the background people just dropping left and right.
Right.
And then I think it's the next morning he says how many are left, and he's like, I think around 18 or something like that. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that thins out the crew a little bit. Are there any specific moments that stick out in your mind that you would like to talk about, or anything about this movie?
Not like particular, no. I do like the military aspect because I'm a huge, veteran type family, but
Right.
I mean, do I like the killing scenes? Yeah, there was some blood in it, but did it keep me glued? Yes. Was it boring to me? Yes. However, there is funny parts in it though. It made me laugh. So there's a little comedy into it
Yeah,
into it.
yeah, that's for sure.
So
Yeah, this is it's like it's drama and it's psychology and it's trying to make a point, and there's overtones of fascism and abuse of power and all that, and it's like it's interesting, it's compelling, it's mildly entertaining. Do I ever need to watch it again? Probably not. I've seen it.
yeah,
I don't need to
same.
see it again.
Well,
um
this whole like watching this whole movie, I was really betting on like the two main actors that was always kind of like up in front next
mhm,
to like the African American.
mhm.
Could have sworn he was going to win. Nope,
Yeah.
he pretty much backed off so he can win.
Yep, exactly.
I was
It's
like, what?
yeah.
But
Yeah, you can there's two, like the two main characters that they focus on a lot, and spoiler alert, you're kind of like, I bet you these are good. It's going to end up these are going to be the last two, because they're helping each other out and they're buddies and they're forming a relationship and this and that, and sure as shit, it's that they're the last two, and
hmm
then uh Garrity, he had said what his wish was, because his father had been executed for doing illegal things like illegal books and records and stuff. And so if he won, he was going to wish for the guard's gun and then shoot the major. And so that's what he told his friend, uh, the other guy. um, Peter. And so then they get toward the end, and Peter's like, you know what, man, you're gonna win this. I'm giving up. And he sits down and he's like, no, 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 don't do that. Keep walking. Just walk with me for a little bit further. Just walk with
Yep.
me for a little bit further. And he's like, okay, okay, all right. And as he's saying that, the other guy stops and falls back, and then they shoot him. So Peter ends up winning. And they're like, congratulations, you're the winner. Woo, all right, woo. And he
And
had
you
never,
got people surrounding too, because I think they were almost to that checkpoint.
yeah, they had said something like towards the end there was going to be a crowd of people wanting to see the finish.
Yep.
And I don't think Peter ever said what he was going to wish for. I think he said wanted to. Was he the one that said he wanted to wish for something that would change the world? I don't
I think
remember.
so, yeah.
Anyway,
I think so.
so what does Peter wish for? He wishes for the guard's gun. He says, I want this gun so I can give it to my kid as a souvenir. The major says, let the man have his gun. And right away he pulls up the gun. He says, they talk a little bit. Major dead. And then they show Peter walking off, and
hmm
there's no, it's just like street lights, and he's walking off all alone. There's no one around. So I take that to mean that they probably killed him as soon as he shot the major, and now this is him walking into the afterlife.
Yep.
But yeah, you can interpret it however you want. Maybe no one was standing on that side of the street, and they just let him walk off by himself. They were like, "Bye, thanks for shooting the major. Have a good life."
Yeah.
So, and then that's the long walk.
Yeah. That's pretty much
Interesting,
it.
thought provoking, entertaining. Uh, Not if you're wanting Terrifier 3 or Friday the 13th 8 or fun slasher, gory, action-packed carnage extravaganza. This isn't it. But if you want something thoughtful and psychological and something that might stick with you a little bit, um,
That and maybe if you like war type
right,
movies.
that too, or survival stories, like
Yeah.
survival horror in a way.
Yep.
Um, I think I'm gonna rate it a 6, because I liked it and I was entertained by it. I wasn't wanting to like shut it off. I wanted to finish it. And so I thought it was pretty good in that respect, but a little slow at times and a little dry. How about you, Breezy?
Same, but I'm gonna rate it as a five though.
There you go. I knew I liked it a little
I'm
bit
just
better than you.
I'm just being honest. I mean, it kept me, I wasn't bored at all.
hmm
Kind of kept me wondering, like, okay, who's next? Who's going to fuck up next? It keeps you thinking.
Yeah.
I do like that. Um, Other than
Steven,
that, there's been funny parts that it made me laugh.
right? I like the Major talks about sack a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and diarrhea and one thing that Stephen King does really well is he takes you on a journey. Like
Hmm.
you think of Stand By Me is also Stephen King, where you have this, journey where you go on this, it's this beginning, middle, and end, and all this different bull crap happens, and there's adventure along the way. And even like it is kind of like that, that they're not physically a journey, but it's a journey of like exploring the sewers and discovering and learning about Pennywise. And so that's one thing Stephen King does
Well,
really
same goes
well.
with Pet Cemetery.
Yep, that too. It's like there's always he does the pacing of it is always so well. If it starts off
Yes.
innocent enough and then it just escalates and escalates and escalates and escalates and escalates. And Stephen King is a master of that.
Right.
He does tend
Definitely.
to have kind of disappointing endings, I think, where it's like it ends and you're like, oh, like it builds and builds and builds and builds and then it ends and it's like, that's it. Come on.
See, that's a part of Stephen King. If you like read the books, like
hmm
I want to give this example, like it. Well,
Yeah.
there's so much details in the book that they living out of the, movie.
Yeah,
So it's like, if you read the Stephen King's books, you're going to get a more better view in your head versus like the movie.
definitely.
So that's how I see it.
Exactly.
I like Stephen King's.
I like Stephen King too. Um, any have you ever read what's the other guy? Dean Koontz? I've never read a
Never
single
heard of
Dean
him.
Koontz. He was the other guy that was like big and popular like Stephen King
Oh,
in
okay.
like the 80s, the other famous horror writer.
Hmm.
But anyway, that's it for this week's Talk Bloody to Me. Uh keep the requests coming and all that
We got a
and
lot of them to go through.
yeah.
When
So
I see like under like especially like on IG or Facebook, I end up screenshotting, but or on YouTube. The other apps I can't see because Matt has all that stuff. So I'm like,
yeah,
if you're comment, I think you can comment on Spotify. So I
yep.
can't see that. So
But I will
yeah,
pass it on.
yeah. I was like, Matt screenshot it so I can remember and put in my, folder. And this is
Yep.
one of them. I'm like, oh yeah, we gotta redo the A long walk. So we better get that out of the way.
Speaking of that, I just remembered now, and since we're talking about it, someone requested Nosferatu, the new one. So
Oh,
put that on the list.
no, Nosferatu.
Yeah, the one that just
Oh,
came out,
I've seen that one.
the one where he hangs dong.
Yeah, that one's an interesting one too. We
Yep.
review it. We review it.
We'll get to
But
it.
send that to me though.
Okay, sounds good. And other than that, thank you so much for watching and keep telling your friends, stay tuned and come back for more.
Yeah, come back for more.
Bye.
Bye.